Okay, hey everybody. Happy Wednesday hump day in the Chicagoland area. It is beautiful out. I was outside this morning and I was like, this is just the perfect fall day. And what a perfect day for us to be on here to get together. Laura, how are you doing?
Doing well, very well.
Oh,
Absolutely.
sorry. Okay.
Yeah, we got Lori and Laura. I'm sorry. I'm doing great. I'm doing absolutely great. And I'm so excited because we have a former alumni from our class, from Downers Grove North, class of 79. We have a lot of talented people in our class.
We sure do.
Yeah, we really do. I want to introduce you to a woman that I think is one of the most creative people that I've ever met. And you know what? Going through and watching her YouTubes and all her techniques, it's just amazing. She has written books. She is in a gallery. She's like the queen of collages. That's what I want to call her. And she's even got clothing design. Aren't you working with a
Oh,
design person? So it's just amazing. With that, I want to introduce you to Laura Lein-Svencner. Sorry, I'm bad with last names, Laura. So with that, Laura, go ahead. You can talk about all
Hi.
the
Yeah. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for inviting me on here today. This is kind of an honor to meet both of you doing this. I just wanted to, if I can just kind of quickly just backtrack, after high school, just before we graduated, Mr. Jakes and Mr. Buckus and Mrs. Danhelka were all in the art room, and they encouraged me to go to Colorado Black Hawk Mountain School of Art, and that was 9 weeks of art. And so I had filled out the information. They wrote up a whole bunch of things for me and I was accepted. So I got to go up there. So that kind of starts things as people see certain things in you. And then they say, oh, you should go check this out. You should go check out that, So I came back after that, had a wonderful experience up there and came back. And I had met my husband 2 weeks prior to go. And then I came back, and so then we just started dating after that. And our children came in 4 years after that. And then I have four children. Oldest daughter, a middle, and a set of twins, boy-girl twins. And they just all got out of the house here through COVID. So it's been, talk about the big loss of a lot of things. And then I have an empty nest, which I'm busy, but yet it was a big transition, through that. So when my youngest, the twins were 4, I decided to go back into my art, being creative and a mom and stuff like that. I was helping out in school at the art awareness programs in Darien here at the schools that my children went to. And somebody said, hey, you should take some classes, at COD and learn how to make some paper. So I went there and I made, which I'll just show you real quick. I just finished here. This is paper that I made, and it's just a sheet. It kind of looks like brown craft paper like that, but it's all made out of plants. So I learned how to make my own paper, cooking it down, and then you blend it, and then you make sheets of paper. So I've got that experience. So I learned that, and then other people that I came in contact with. One woman that I took a class on how to market your art at COD. I didn't stay there. I just dabbled, because having kids at home, it was kind of hard to have go and do it full. And so one of the ladies that was in the class, she says, I would really like to see your artwork. And I'm like, you would? She says, and at that time I had a bigger van than I have now. And so she says, well, how about if you come over to my parking lot where I live and we'll open up the van and let me see. She must have bought 8 pieces of artwork from me at that time. So, and they went all the way to Wyoming to a gallery out there. So I kissed those goodbye. And I was just like, I had my first official, art sales, there in a van. And then after that, it was just, again, it's just a lot of people see where, oh, you should try this, you should try that. I should join an art league or an art guild. And so I joined LaGrange Art League, and that's in LaGrange, and that's still going quite strong there, even through COVID. And I also joined Naperville Art League. So I'm looking for galleries that, art leagues, groups of people that are artists that have a gallery so I can start exhibiting the work. So I started exhibiting the work there. And then after about 2 years, you had to be a member, and in that time you also had to win some awards, and then you could have a solo show. So that was one of the things as a goal, to work towards that, and volunteer and do your time there. Then next thing you know, I'm there and they have an opening to be a framer. And so they asked if I wanted to learn how to frame. So I educated myself with some of the elders that were there, and they taught me how to frame artwork. And so I was able, my kids are still young, they're still in school, but I was able, off they went, and then to be home, at the time when they were, then I was to meet them, So just, yeah. And then that kept on going. And another woman was in the art league there, and she said, you should teach. I says, hey, I haven't taught anybody. I just did the art awareness mom in the programs. She says, no, you teach what you know. And so that started my career of teaching the art. And then as the more I did that, the more I could see what the students needed to learn. And so then I would always recreate the class or do something a little different so that I could help them. So I had a steady group of people that were with me for about good 10 years, and then finally it was just like, I could see it. And it's kind of hard to say this, but I could see it. They were ready to go, and I encouraged them. It felt really weird because it's like, why do you want to push people away from your business? And it's just like, but if you're really in it for what it's worth, these people are in it too, to learn and to grow their own art. And a lot of them are still continuing exhibiting in galleries and stuff like that. So it's really nice to be part of their journey too, with that. After doing a lot of teaching, then I got the wind of, Door County, that's up in Wisconsin. And a lot of the elders had their work up there. So that was another goal, to get up there and to have my work up there. And so I do have it up there at Woodwalk Gallery, and that's in Egg Harbor. And so I've had my work up there for about 4 or 5 years. And it's a hit or miss, when you have working galleries. It's, different times a year and stuff like that. I'm having a good year up there, so that's good. I had to send some more artwork up there. And I've been teaching workshops. So I got into doing also art fairs for about good 10 years. And I did them locally. I didn't go into the city because that was just a little bit too much for myself. My kids were still in school. You got to set up on a Friday, and then you got to be there Saturday, Sunday, and then bring down. So they would usually come at the end of the art fair and help me, take down. So I liked the grass areas. I liked the areas where there was woods, trees and stuff like that. So I've done the Hinsdale Fine Arts and the Riverwalk and the Naperville settlement. There's been quite a few, through the years. But as I was talking before, it's a very physical job. And I can ask for help. But at that time, after about 10 years, I decided that my shoulders were starting to, feel it. And I had just finished setting up at Riverwalk, and I just put my hand on the pole, and I was questioning inside. I was like, gosh, how long am I going to do this? Maybe this might be the last year, not talking to anybody, but just thinking that. And this little old man came by. He's got suspenders on. He's got a little hat, just cute as a button, walks by. And now I'm getting chills about this. He goes, is it all worth it? And I'm like, okay, it's not odd. It's God speaking to me, So after that point, it was a choice that I had to make. And so when one door closes somewhere, then another one opens up. And that's when I started doing the workshops. And Dillman's Creative Workshops is up in Lac du Flambeau, Wisconsin, straight up past Rhinelander. And so this past year, the year before, I didn't teach up there because of COVID, but this year I was up there in May. And so that's been 10 years that I've been going up there. It takes about 6 hours, just straight up, and then teach a workshop up there. So yeah, just trying to, and then this year with COVID and everything that's been going on, you always have to, it's not like reinvent yourself, but you have to be aware see where things are headed. It's never a steady stream of things. And so I was kind of dabbling on a platform to teach art online. And then, then we all had to, get online and do Zoom and stuff like that. So I have a platform that it's on my website too, of online courses, and you can go and there's classes that are there. So, but along that journey, I'll just try to be quick with this. The classes that I have, Blurb is you can load up your images, your classes, and you can create books. So I just started with these soft cover books, and this at that time before online, this is something that people could order, take home, and start working and learning the basics of design. So I have a couple of those that are there, but then I also have the videos with that. And with an artist, it's never a steady stream of income that comes in. So you kind of dabble in a lot of different things. So there's a company called Fine Art America, which there's a lot of them, Zazzle, Bubble. There's all these where you can print on demand. And so I started putting my artwork up there and dabbling in that. And then a company called Dolcezza out of Canada contacted me. And they sent me an email, and then they, like, oh, well, we would like your work, and we would, like to have it on our clothing, and there's no logo, there's nothing. And I'm like, okay, this is a scam because this happens, And so I says, no, I'm not interested. I says, where's your logo? Where's your contract? Give me something here, Didn't hear from them. Then 2 weeks later, I hear from them, and it has another artist's name on there, but they show me the contract, and they had been working with her. This is just new. They've been starting this, and I think I've been doing it for about 6 years. And I'm like, whoa, this is real. I didn't realize it, So what it is, it's not my line. They look at my artwork, they see what they like and how fashion goes, and then they go and design. So this is, I'm just showing the scarf, but it comes in jackets and stuff like that. So it has they give you a scarf with it. So this is some of my artwork that's on the scarf. There's jackets, there's dresses and stuff like that, but I'm not allowed to sell it. And honestly, I don't want to be in the fashion design to sell it because that's a tough line, So I just have a leasing with them. And so they gave me a break for the last couple of years, but this year they just, out of the blue, these things happen. And they contacted me again, and they asked me if I would like to have some of my work, and so they have to test this, and they have to see how things work and how print out, how well I take a photograph of my work. And so I'm waiting to hear back from that. And I always took it as I'm just riding the wave, I don't even know where it's going to go, how long it's going to last. And it's just been really a blessing. And, and a lot of places, people, I got to go to the merchandise mart. They came in, I got to see how their operation is. You don't walk around there by yourself because they think that you're sniping on their designs. I learned that, I says, I just want to see what's all here, and all the people are there with their stuff. And if I was a boutique, I would go there and I would pick out merchandise, and then have it shipped, so, but I got to see my work, on the prints there and on the jackets and stuff like that. So, I don't know what else I've got. Coming up here, I have it's a little book, and it's called Tree Spirit Woman. And I like to, I teach at Mays Lake Peabody Estate, and where I teach, it's with the Forest Preserve, DuPage Forest Preserve. And so any artwork that's hung up there or any classes, they like you to be nature oriented. So we'll be taking walks, we'll be doing book discussion, doing some art journaling, working with that and discussing stuff. So plus I do, other, big collage works and stuff like that I have there. So I try to keep it interesting for me, and I try to keep it interesting for everybody else. So yeah, there's a lot of things I'm dabbling in, but I think I'll turn it back over to you gals and see if there's anything you have questions about. Yeah.
I just got to say, I'm blown away by what you do, first of all, and your talent and it's like a ministry, basically. It's like so cool because art, we had music on before, and music lifts your spirit, but art brings that creativity out in people, and you sharing your art and what you put into it makes people happy. But then what you're doing through your classes is quite interesting. I think it's really cool. Both Lori and I have kids that are school teachers. Okay.
Oh, great.
And I remember Mr. Butkus. I do.
Yes.
I was in one of his art classes. And I think it's a really cool gift for a teacher to see something in a student and push them in a direction that literally is something that really was meant to be for you, which, and I don't believe, Lori and I don't believe things happen for a reason. I mean, we know it happens for a reason. We know that there's divine guidance in everything, just like that little man who was walking by and said that.
Yes.
That was like Lori and I call them like the little mini miracles or divine guidance, or everything happens for a reason. But your story is so cool. It's like so like nice to hear, an average, and I don't mean to say this as you're an average person, but an average person taking the gift that they have and motoring through it and doing, and really you have such a broad spectrum that you actually like have. It's so cool, and that the clothing thing I got to say this, and then I got to turn it back to Lori. One of the coolest places I've been, I think, that is so chillax is Mackinac Island. I don't know if you've been there, but I can picture your work being in some of those like really boutique kind of cool places because it's such a nature area. I went there 3 times with Girl Scout troops. That was our troop trip that we did at the end. We went out with a bang between when the kids were going off to high school. My 3 daughters' Girl Scout troops, that's what we did. And I could see your stuff in there. I just kind of could feel like seeing that, in all these cool places. Like I've never been to Door County, but I can picture you having, a big presence. I could see, what's the place, on the way to Iowa, why can't I think of it? Galena.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's good opportunities, but it's like, how far are you going to spread yourself?
I know.
You're going to drive. Yeah, you have to make some choices. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Laura, I got to turn it over to you.
Oh yeah, I'm so impressed with you. I come from a family of artists too. So, but I want you, if you can, could you just show a couple pieces of your work? You know why? Because I know your website, I looked at all that stuff, but to see, I know we can't get the texture from just looking at it through the computer, but maybe you could show 1 or 2 pieces. I just want to show everybody how creative this is. She just doesn't just put stuff on a paper.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can find something here. Actually, let me just look through.
She doesn't just do, Laura.
Right. Okay. So, I'm going to open this up and then let's see. Can I share screen with you gals or? Oh no. Yeah.
I don't know if you.
How about anything?
Yeah, I can't.
You can't share. I don't think you can. Yeah.
How about any pieces in your studio? Yeah. I just want to show people it's not just art. It's just amazing what you do.
Well, I don't know if I can
get creative stuff.
Done on a wood panel.
Oh wow!
No, and then this is all paper that's fused on there. There's I made a shadow box. That's a clock that's in there, and I play around with the house series that's there, and so it's got some of the Monopoly, little houses. That are there, and then just doing some image transfers. So using acrylic paints and acrylic mediums, there.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's so creative. It's just amazing.
Wow.
It's not just, painting on a canvas. Yours
right.
Totally. I mean, it's
this one might have a glare because of the camera.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's gorgeous.
Yeah, so it's abstractly, mixed media work.
Yeah, and you use it from all kinds of stuff, right?
Right, which makes it makes it fun for everybody too. I mean, it's playful, but you don't have to have a drawing background. but you have to have a sense, you know, that playfulness, and then piecework, you know, taking things and putting it together and layering it, you know. Something that I wanted to bring up, Naperville the Riverwalk, and then they also have the Settlement on the other side. They have two different art shows.
Right.
And I believe it's the Naperville Women's Club that has the Naperville Settlement on that side. And I had set up my tent and I was going into, you know, I don't know, walking around, just taking a look. And there is Mr. Jakes.
Oh,
wow.
He was exhibiting there too. And we both surprised each other. I mean, he was, you know, I mean, like you said before, you know, my students, you know, and here I'm one of his students. And then also Ray Campbell is a member of the Naperville Art League. And he, you know, I mean, so I see him periodically, you know, through there. So it's, you know, it's a full circle. It just kind of comes back around and it's just really so cool. Yeah. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Great. That is absolutely wonderful. Well, we're so happy that we had you on. And like Debbie says, we're going to put links on there and you're going to put periodically things that you're doing. But I do recommend people going and looking at your stuff on YouTube and some of your techniques, and maybe even enrolling in a workshop. We'll get all that information out for you. But Laura, we're so pleased to have you and so honored to have met you, have reconnected after all these years.
Yeah.
It's just exciting to hear what you're doing, and you're making the world a better place. Place.
Thank you. And you gals are too, just by sharing people's stories, you know, which is wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you. Debbie, you want to close us out here?
Sure. I just want to say one more thing, Laura. If you're doing anything local that you are like at these places, like if you are in Naperville or whatever, make sure you pop those on and put your little like, you know, so that people know, because if I was near there, I would certainly come see you. You know what I'm saying? So definitely. And also, we just want to say to everybody that's listening today, thank you for tuning into us. We love having, you know, we're so appreciative. And, you know, Lori and I have, you know, come and found so many great people to interview, like Laura today, and share this with your friends and family, because we're at, you know, we're approaching 600. Our goal is to get, our next goal is 1,000, and our YouTube is up. And so you can find us on both places, and we're excited. And with that, today's a beautiful day. If you're around a beautiful day, get outside and soak up some of that vitamin D and get out there, because, you know, it's very important. I was listening to somebody yesterday who said, you know, 20 minutes out in the sunshine will do you more than taking a vitamin D tablet. Okay. So anyways, but anyways, I just want to say thank you again. And with that, I know we are going to say have a fantastic day, everybody. And thank you for being with us. And again, thanks for sharing time with us.
Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.